everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Busy Life Podcast. My name is Julie, and I'll be your host for today. And today we are talking about imposter syndrome. Now, for those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, according to the lovely Google search, imposter syndrome is the condition of feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally. Despite being high performing in external objective ways, this condition often results in people feeling like they're a fraud or a phony, which then has them doubting their abilities. Now, you're probably wondering, why are we talking about imposter syndrome today? And the reason we are is because I know that all of us at some point or another have had it. I know that there are times when we feel like we're not worthy of something, or we feel like, why me? Like I would want to do that, but I don't know. I'm not qualified enough, or there's so many other people out there who are doing it, or insert the excuse, right? They are all excuses. What we need to be doing is we need to be asking ourselves, why not me? Why am I not doing those things? Why can't I go on that trip or take the risk or do this or do that? Why not you? You are meant for greatness, and you are destined to do the things that make your life happy. And if you don't do them, then that's kind of your fault. I know that it's a little bit harsh and kind of depressing and negative to say it like this, but a lot of people don't live their purpose. Something that kind of inspired me to talk about this episode is my Mexico trip. And I know I said in my last episode with Ryan that I was going to touch on that, but we ended up going over the time limit that we were kind of aiming for. And we decided that it was a good place to stop where we did. And I just decided that maybe this episode was going to be the place where I talked about my Mexico trip. So let me give you a little bit of background on that. And I want to talk about how it leads to me wanting to talk about imposter syndrome and fear, because I think a lot of a lot of our imposter syndrome comes from deep-rooted fears, or maybe even new fears, and you're going to see my connection. So let me tell you, why did I go to Mexico? I went to this lovely resort called La Jolla in Sayulita, Mexico, and I went on Kelsey Wells' Redefine Fitness Retreat. It was just the most beautiful thing I've ever done in my life. I was there with about 14 other women, and all of us genuinely were meant to be there. It was such a beautiful experience, and I'm actually a little hesitant to talk too much about it because I know that she has another group going in May, and I don't wanna ruin anything, but basically, what I'll say is it was an opportunity for 14 people, 15 people, I think, 14, 15 people, total strangers. Honestly, I knew Kelsey, I knew my friend that she also said she would do this with me. And that was it. I mean, I met people from Canada, I met people from Tennessee, I met people from all over the US and Australia and Mexico, and we all connected. And we all had this purpose where we knew that we needed to be there. And we did a lot of digging, we did a lot of personal work, we journaled, we had fun, we went on a boat ride, we hung out by the pool, we had amazing food, we worked out together. Every morning we did meditation, and we had a great workout led by Kelsey. And it was just, honestly, it was just a gift to myself. I knew that this was an opportunity that would push me to grow, that would really challenge me to tap in to my inner self. And it just brought me so much joy and healing. I did a lot of healing in 4 days. Like every morning, I woke up a little bit more and more emotionally exhausted, but not in a bad way, like full, And the phrase that we all kept using was full cup but tired, or full cup but exhausted. Because when you do a lot of work, I mean, when you go think about it this way, when you go through like a really good workout or you've done a lot of work that day, you're tired. You feel good, but you are tired. We had a lot of crying. There was a lot of things that we all talked about and shared with each other. And just I still have a hard time articulating how special that trip was to me. And it'll be something that I'm eternally grateful for. And honestly, it's something that I never thought I would have done in my entire life. Today's day has a lot of people on Instagram posting, "Oh, working from my office and my their office is a pool or a beach or somewhere in the Caribbean." And you're just like, "What the hell? What am I doing wrong or what am I doing that is not qualifying me to be able to have an office on the beach and to do this and to do that?" Insert imposter syndrome. Right? People have something or people do something and you want it, but you're afraid because you think that you don't deserve it and that you're not qualified. And, so and so gets to do it because that's what they were meant to do, not me. Bullshit. Who says? That reminds me of that Selena Gomez song. It's so true, though, because it's just a feeling. Imposter syndrome, according to the direction, is a feeling of being anxious and feeling like you're not experiencing the success because maybe you're a fraud or maybe you just don't feel like you can do it. And actually, there's an imposter syndrome cycle. So it all starts with a project or a task or something that you want, something that you see. So let's pretend it's having that beautiful work from home job. Okay. You probably don't know how to do it. You don't even know where to start. What does it look like to work from home? How do I actually make sufficient income working from home? So here's this thing that you want, right? It's that pretty gold object. It then begins to cause anxiety, procrastination, or even over preparation. So now you're freaking out. I want it, but I'm not good enough for it. Oh my God, maybe I should do it, but I'll talk about it tomorrow. Or you just go crazy and you try to do everything you can to have it. Okay. So phase one is here's this golden object. Phase two is the anxiety and the procrastination. Then comes phase three, which is project completion. So you start to do a little bit of work towards it and you have a little bit of relief. You're like, okay, maybe I can be a fitness influencer. Maybe I can be a really famous chef. I just learned how to cook these really cool meals and it actually tasted pretty good. Or you know what? Maybe I can be a teacher. I just went and observed a lesson and it didn't seem as scary as I thought it would be. Okay. So now you're starting to develop a sense of accomplishment. Maybe you do know what you're doing. I promise you actually do. Then comes phase four. Now you're in the rationalization phase where maybe you just got lucky, or honestly, somebody could have done a better job than you. Bullshit. This is the part where the shit goes downhill. That's not true. It's not because you were just lucky. And maybe somebody else had different words than you, but it wasn't better than you. And now we're in the final phase of imposter syndrome where your self doubt is increasing, your anxiety is increasing, you feel like a fraud. Why are you doing this? No one's going to like you. Everybody's going to unfollow you. Nobody's going to listen to your podcast. All these things. I mean, shit, I should even talk about the fact that for a little bit, I had imposter syndrome with this podcast. I wasn't sure if I sounded like everybody. I love listening to a lot of podcasts, actually. I listen to one almost every day. And I have a hard time articulating what I want to say. So I definitely had times where I felt like I was a fraud or a phony. But I had to trust myself and say, Julie, if this is something you really, really want, insert cuss word. Fuck the imposter syndrome. Why do you not deserve this? Because you do deserve this. Why shouldn't you start this podcast? Why shouldn't you have a successful Instagram or be a really good teacher or whatever it is that you want to be? Why can't you do it? I'll tell you what, the only reason you can't is because you don't try. You are letting fear get in the way. Imposter syndrome and fear are like best friends. Once you develop imposter syndrome, it's like it finds your fears in your brain and they're like, hey, and they click together because imposter syndrome causes anxiety. Like we said, I've said it maybe like 3 times now. It makes you feel like you're not worth it. Fear does that too. Fear stops you from living the life you want to live, and it gets in the way of the things that you want to be doing because something bad might happen, or somebody might not like you, or they might not call you back, or you might not get the job, or you might not make the money. And all these what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. What if it could go right? What if it could go right? What if you do get the call back? What if you do make the money? What if you can be the ambassador? What if it goes right, guys? We got to start saying that. What if it goes right? What if my life changes for the better because this is what I was meant to do? And what if I was so afraid that now I've got this amazing story and I can talk about it? What if I can go on the trip with all the amazing people and go and visit this beautiful place in Mexico because I deserve it? That is the way we need to start thinking. And when you start to program your brain and you think, I deserve this, I can do this, I can achieve this, you will start to see that. Mel Robbins talked about in one of her podcasts, synchronicities. I also have a hard time saying that word. But when you genuinely believe in yourself and when you align your beliefs with your actions and your words and your thoughts, you start to notice life will synchronize to work in your favor. Have you ever talked to somebody who is just a constant negative Nelly and all they do is complain and they really see life from a half empty glass? And they're complaining 24/7 because nothing is going their way according to them, even though that's probably not true. I guarantee you it's because of the way that they're looking at their life. I guarantee you that there are things that are working out in their favor and they just don't see it. So it's up to you to flip the script, to turn off the imposter syndrome, to turn off the fear. Press that fucking off button and turn on the positivity. Turn on the what if I can? Turn on the beliefs and change those thoughts. I'm not saying you're never going to have them again. There is definitely days that I wake up and I feel a little bit anxious or I do have that fear or I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so much work." Maybe that's why she was meant to write a book because she had a little bit more time on her hands and I don't right now. No. Turn it off. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, "Shush. We're not doing this anymore, okay? We are going to write the book. We are going to start the podcast. We are going to create the workout program. We are going to do the things that we said we're going to do." Kelsey Wells shared this quote when we were on the retreat. There was a point where we did little workshops. I mean, they weren't little, they were big emotionally. They were the best. Well, definitely some of my favorite parts of the trip. I can't even pick one favorite part. There was so many amazing things, but during, I think this was the first workshop, we were all sitting at this really long table. It was kind of like the dining room table. And we each had a journal that she got for us, and she got us pens. And she started to tell us the story about her grandmother, which I related so personally to because my grandmother passed away. I didn't meet my mom's mother, but I had the pleasure of meeting my dad's mother, and I grew up with her. Um, and she had passed away when I was a junior in high school. And I'll tell a little bit about this story, but basically, she died on New Year's Eve, and it just made me so mad because something that Kelsey said resonated a lot with something that I experienced. And Kelsey said she just wished like she felt like they weren't done talking, you know? And I definitely felt that too. I felt like my grandmother was just taken from me. I call her Yaya. I felt like she was just taken from me and we weren't done, you know? And it hurt a lot. And so as I'm listening to this story, I'm like, yes, yes, I hear you. Oh my God. Like, It makes me so sad to know that she's not here and I can't talk to her. I get this. And then she said that she found this little piece of paper or a card that said, "So many people die with the music still inside of them. It's time to live." And I'm telling you, there was not a single dry eye at that table. There was not a single person who didn't get chills. And she said that she felt like that was the message her grandmother left for her. I wrote that down in my journal, and I have thought about that quote every single day. I'm telling you guys, every day. I came back from that trip with this fire inside of me. And it felt like when I left that trip, it was like my body, my soul, my spirit, whatever you believe in, however you rationalize with it and resonate with this, my being was just like, it's like the Taylor Swift song, "It's me, hi." But not because it's a problem, but because I finally noticed it. And I finally took the time to do something that made me so damn proud. I did something for me, and I refuse to die with the music still inside of me. And I refuse to let the imposter syndrome win because we don't have time for that. We don't have time to let the imposter syndrome take over. And I just think I get really emotional when I listen to so many people complain and talk about, "Oh, but I don't have this, or I don't have this, or she has this, but she has that." Take a minute to really think about what you have. How how many blessings you do have around you. Yeah, you may not work from home, or you may not have a beach view, or you may not have 1,000, hundred thousands of followers on Instagram, but what do you have? We have to flip that script. Because especially when the imposter syndrome comes up and when the fear comes up, it is up to us to turn it off. We cannot live a life where we let the music inside of us die. It is up to you to turn the damn speakers on as loud as they can fucking go and live. That's really where this all comes down to. It is up to you to live your life the way that you want to live it. I also mentioned when I was on this trip, I shared something very personal. I shared a lot of personal things, but I shared something very personal that Ryan and I have really been struggling financially. And this trip was definitely something that we had to talk about because, plane tickets aren't cheap, food isn't cheap. And it was just, do we have the money for this right now? Is this something that I can do? And I have absolutely no regrets. I'm telling you guys, I don't know how to explain it, but because the fear of, oh my God, my debt is going to go up even higher. And it also, I'm getting so excited. My words are going 100 miles an hour. The fear of not going, along with the fear of going, it's almost like they were yelling at each other, like, no, well, she can't go because she doesn't have the money for it. Well, you know what? But she has to go because if she doesn't go, she's going to miss out. And it was like those little, like, two people on your shoulder. You got the one person telling you, go do it. And the other one who's like, no, stay home. I had that. And if I listened to the fear of, oh, but you know what, Julie, she also doesn't like planes. So Julie really shouldn't be going on this trip. I would have never experienced the amazing things that I did. We can't let fear win. We can't. What we can do is prepare. So I mentioned a little bit about the fear of the planes, right? I don't love planes. I I don't love planes, but I know that sometimes that is the only way you can get where you need to go. So I did it. I got on the plane and I prepared. I said, okay, there's going to be a little bit of turbulence, Julie, but you got this. put on your favorite music, listen to some podcast episodes, bring a book, bring a snack, prepare, right? Because if you want to be the kind of person who lives this life that you want to live, where you go on these trips because you feel that calling despite the debt, because you know that in your soul, this is something that you need to do, okay, then I'm going to go on the plane. I'm going to bring the headphones. I'm going to bring some snacks. I'm going to pay for the Wi-Fi so that way I can watch a movie or I can text my fiance. We got to prepare, right? We got to think about the things in advance because that's what helps you be successful. Now, obviously, not everything in life you can prepare for, but it helps. So same thing with the debt. I said, you know what? This is not exactly a cheap trip. I'm definitely spending a little bit more than I wanted to, but this is so important to me. So I'm going to prepare. I'm going to spend a little bit less this month. I'm going to do some more meals at home. I am going to maybe not go out and get as much coffee. I'll make some coffee at home. Whatever it is that you can do, prepare. Help mitigate the fear and increase the excitement. Why are we not living a life that makes us feel excited, where the fire is lit within and the music is on? Why? It's because we're too scared. Or we're too lazy. Oh, you know what? I don't know. That just kind of she's really famous and she's got that kind of money hanging around her. So I'm sure she can handle something like this. But me, no. I'm a teacher. I got a teacher salary. I got to stay home. Fuck that. No. What makes this person on Instagram who has 400,000 followers more capable of the dream life that you want than you? Nothing. Nothing other than the hard work. Focus on your dreams. I had a whole episode about dreams that I really encourage you to go back and listen to because I am a huge believer that if you have a dream, you need to go after it or you will forever be upset by it. I think there's a trending audio right now that's like you could stay asleep with your dreams or you can wake up and go after them and go get them. Right? We need to put in the work and do the things that we want. Don't let the imposter syndrome stop you. Don't let the fear stop you. Don't let the debt stop you. Don't let the voices in your head or the comments that people make. The amount of people on this trip who shared their stories and would share what people would say about them or what they thought about themselves, it's so heartbreaking because I've been there too. I've been told, oh, you're not skinny enough for that. Oh, you're too tall for this. Oh, you're not rich enough for that. Again, fuck that. You are. You are enough. You are worthy of this. You are capable, despite what other people say, despite your negative thoughts and your negative emotions. You can. I'm not going to pretend like this is easy because I know it's not. I know. But you have to try. You have to find the music, find the fire, turn it on, make it loud, especially when you don't want to, because you're going to have to show up. You're going to have to plan. You're going to have to prepare. You're going to have to take the steps you need to take in order to get what you want. It's like fitness, right? Everybody wants abs and a big ass. That's just the trend. But I get it. You want to feel good about yourself. You want to look in the mirror and you want to be proud of what you see. Well, I'll tell you how you won't get that. You won't get that by sitting on your couch. You won't get that by staring at Instagram photos. You won't get that by doing nothing. You will get it when you start exercising regularly. Notice I didn't say daily, I said regularly. Because for some people, 20 minutes a couple days a week is enough. For other people, an hour 6 days a week is enough. So whatever your regular is, and you might have to test it out a little bit, that's what you need to do. Fuel your body. I've said this before too. Your body is like a car. If you put in the wrong gas, it doesn't work. So if all I do is eat pizza, cake, and ice cream 24/7, I'm going to feel like shit. If all I did was eat fruits and vegetables and lean protein, that's also not good. There's no balance there. And I'm depriving myself. Balanced, fueled diet. Because I'm going to tell you what, I had cookie dough for breakfast this morning and I have no regrets. I had the biggest sweet tooth this morning and I have no regrets. I had a little bowl of this edible cookie dough. I had some dates. I love dates and I will fight anybody who says otherwise. Ryan also doesn't like dates, so that's a problem. I had dates, cookie dough, and some peppers because I have a lot of vegetables in my fridge that need to be eaten before they go bad. I felt great. And guess what? I didn't lose on my progress. Do the things you need to do and do them the right way to get what you want. Okay. We're kind of coming to the time frame where I want to stop. I like to do about 30 minutes so that way I'm not over talking to you guys. I'm not going over too many things, but what I really want you to take away from this is that you are stronger than you think you are. Don't let your imposter syndrome and your fear take away the things you want in life. You deserve whatever it is that makes you happy. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy to get. What I am saying is it's worth it. No matter what it is, I could go through a whole list of things that could make you happy, maybe that do make you happy, but everybody's individual. Find what it is that ignites the fire within you and do it. Hit that on switch. Take the steps you need to take in order to win, because you can win and you will win. Please don't give up. You are not a phony. You are not a fraud, and you do deserve this. You might be scared, lean into it. That's okay. Recognize it. Yep, this is kind of scary for me, but I'll be okay. You got this. Please, if there's anything you got from this, it's that you will have imposter syndrome and you will be afraid, but you also will turn that off and cheer yourself on instead. I love you. You deserve this. I'm cheering you on. I'm here for you. Please reach out if you need anything. Also, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things so I can continue doing this show. I genuinely love coming on here every week and pouring into your cups. It really makes my day and it makes my week. So thank you for everything. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.